Hello and welcome to Seminar 2, How to SWOT. And if you don't know what that means, you will in about 10 minutes. So let's go. So the first thing is to ask yourself a pretty big question. Here's the question. What change do you want to make in your life? So it could be a small change or it can be a big one. So big ones might be something like changing your career. Maybe you've been in the same career for 10, 15, 20 years and you want to change, and that's a really big deal for you. Or you want to go and live in a new country, or you want to start your own business, open a vegan restaurant, something like that. So whatever it is, have a think about something that you want to change in your life. And if you're like me, you might be quite impulsive and just decide and then go and do it. But if you're a little bit smarter, you're going to give it a bit of thought to decide, is now the best time for me to make this change? What am I going to need to do to make that change? What kinds of things do I bring to the new situation? What are the barriers I might face to this? And to kind of analyze the situation to help you decide what to do next, we're going to look at one way of looking at the situation. So this is called a SWOT analysis. So we've decided what change we want to make, and all we're going to do is look at 4 different aspects of our situation. So number one, what kind of strengths do we bring? So these are internal things. What's my personality? Does my personality suit this change that I want to make? What skills do I bring? What experience? What kind of determination do I bring? And then the other side of that are weaknesses. So what kind of things might hold me back or might make me weaker in this new situation. And then the bottom 2 are external things. So they're not about your personality and your skills. They're like, what does the market look like? Is there a lot of competition? So that would be a threat. Is there a lot of competition going into this new career that I want to that I want to change into? Or say I want to open up a restaurant, maybe, and I want to open a vegan restaurant, maybe there are loads of vegan restaurants in my area, so there's going to be lots of competition for that, so that would be a threat. Or maybe there are no vegan restaurants in my area, and so that's an opportunity because there will be less competition. Or it could be other things, like if you're changing your career, some of the opportunities might be more money. Maybe you'll get to spend more time with your family. So we're going to look at the situation from all of these 4 different angles. So let's take an example. This was one of mine. So some years ago, I wanted to go and live in the Galapagos Islands. I wanted to go and live and work in the Galapagos Islands. And most people thought this was a pretty crazy idea. So most of my friends and family said that's not going to happen. It's just a little bit mad. But we could look at the situation from a number of different angles, like the 4 that we've just looked at. So if we look at the strengths, so these are your internal strengths, your skills, your experience, things like that. So something that's a real advantage for some people, kind of an unfair advantage actually, is if English is your first language. That can really help you if you want to go abroad, because in quite a lot of places people will want to learn English. So if you want to travel and you speak English and you have teaching experience, then that can be a strength. And so that was the case for me. Also, just I was quite an adventurous person. I was independent, so I was okay with going somewhere where I didn't know anybody. I didn't mind that I would probably live in a place that was maybe not the same as the kind of place where I lived in London. and there was nothing really to hold me back. I wasn't married, I didn't have a family, so there was nothing really holding me back. So the next thing we look at is weaknesses. So one thing about English speakers is often they don't speak any other languages, and that was the case with me. So I didn't speak Spanish at all, so I knew if I went to live in the Galapagos Islands this would be a major weakness. And yeah, so I didn't speak Spanish at all. I didn't know anyone at all, not only in the Galapagos Islands, but in the whole of Ecuador. I did not know anyone on the whole continent of Latin America. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know what it would be like to live there. Next thing we look at is opportunities. So what opportunities with this new was there in this new change that I wanted to make? So one thing was that it would look good on my CV. It would look good to have been to a new place. There would be definitely opportunities to learn the language while I was there. If I was going to volunteer rather than have a paid job, that would give me lots of time to learn Spanish, to travel around, to read, to just make new friends. That's an opportunity of going somewhere where you don't know anybody. You're almost certainly going to make new friends. And then finally, we look at the fourth section, which is the threats. So what is kind of an external difficulty that might come as a result of making this change? So one thing was low pay, or no pay actually. If you're going to go somewhere and volunteer, you're not going to make any money, so I'd have to have enough money to go there in the first place and know that I wasn't going to make any while I was there. Give up a job in the UK. If you're going to go and live abroad, no one's going to keep your job open for you in the UK. Even things like healthcare. If I got sick over there, what was I going to do? If I got sad, not many people would visit me because it's 6,000 miles away. So and my mom is really scared of flying, so she wouldn't have come out to save me. So things like this, you know, what if it all goes wrong? I'll be very far away, and maybe won't be able to have anyone to come and save me if things go a bit wrong. So this is one way of looking at things, and the question that I have for you is, do you think this method would help you to plan your next project? So think very carefully about a change that you want to make, or something you want to achieve. Maybe you want to achieve 70% in your assignment. What are the strengths and weaknesses you have? What are the opportunities and threats? So it might be that you're a very hard worker, but you don't have access to all of the materials that you would like to be able to pass your assignment at a really high level. So I want you to think about those things using that grid that we looked at, and try it for yourself. See if it works. See if it shows up some stuff for you that you didn't expect. So here is your homework. What change do you want to make in your life? So going back to that original question, and just make something up if you don't know, but it could be something like a career change, starting a business, getting a degree in astrophysics. So whatever it is, think about it, write it down, and then look at the strengths. What do you bring to the situation that's going to help you? What are the weaknesses that might hold you back? And what are some external things? Maybe you have a baby, for example, that needs a lot of care and attention because he or she is very young, and that's going to be make it a lot more difficult to study or make a timetable that you can stick to. So all of these sorts of things, write them all down. So this is where I would usually tell you about some interesting reading, but this is what I want you to do, is think about how can you find out more. So if I don't give you a reading list, how could you find out about some other sources of information? Where would you look? Would you look for books? Would you look online? How would you find those materials that are going to help you to learn more? So I'm not going to give you a reading list this time. I want you to think about how you would find some more out about this way of analysing your situation. So I'm cheating a little bit this week, sorry. I'm making you do all the work. All right, so well done. Thank you for listening. I hope that was helpful. Please pop some comments below if you have any questions, and I will see you next time.